Welcome to America's Horse on America's Trail with the Mustang Discovery Ride. I'm your host, Julianne Neal. With a goal of 5,000 miles, 5,000 Mustangs, the Mustang Discovery Ride team hopes to bring attention to adoption into appropriate homes for these living legends. Enjoy the ride.
Gosh, technical difficulties. Okay.
Exactly. So for the podcast, we are live action today with Lisanne and a new member of the herd, Claudia. I can't wait to meet you. And Lisanne, tell us first of all where you are, and then introduce us to your new partner in crime.
Yeah, so right now I am currently at the Highland County Fairgrounds in Hillsboro, Ohio, and I'm only 75 miles away from the Indiana border, so I'm getting pretty excited to have another state behind me right now.
Definitely. And I mean, I feel bad because it was like you were in West Virginia for so long, and we kind of just took our time with things, and now you have blown through Ohio. And this is the first time I've talked to you on the podcast since then. So that's awesome. But
yeah.
First, about Claudia, introduce us, please. I'm so excited to meet you.
Yeah, so in West Virginia, I picked up the keepsake, my little puppy Zindia. In Ohio here, I picked up Claudia as my keepsake, and she's planning on riding all the way with me to California.
That is so great. So Claudia, tell us, what in the world made you decide you wanted to do this?
Okay, when they called me to be a support driver, basically to get her from Hocking College, Athens Fairground to Hocking College. Okay, then I didn't realize after I dropped her off the second or third time, I definitely went down to Ash Cave with her in Ohio. And that was really, really special. Got some great photos and everything. And then I just realized that she was kind of on her own, and I kind of go, what? I don't understand. She goes, well, they're going to get a support driver. Da, da, da. And anyway, so I don't know. I just thought about it, and I went, okay, wait. I'm retired. Why is she out there alone? I'm going with her. And then Al is my friend, a business owner. He's going to take care of the animals. And I just was like, okay, now's the time. And I just thought about it for a couple of days. Then I called Lisa Dearson, and she made me feel really, really welcome. And then all I know, we did a 3-day little run, trial run, which is no big deal. And then I went to Kentucky with her, with Gwen Gannon at Rising Sun Stables.
Chasing the
Sun Stables, and that was so much fun. And then anyway, all I know is next thing I know, because I can do it, I want to do it. I'm for the Mustangs, and Lisanne is obviously one in a million, and as my mother would say, never a dull moment. So here I am.
That's fantastic. And I mean, like you said, chance of a lifetime. Why not grab on and go for it? Yeah. So how has it been so far? What all have you done? Yep, Claudia. What, Claudia?
I feel like I'm laughing, kind of go, what have we done? I've been to Hillsboro a lot. Okay, but the fairgrounds a couple of times. We probably eaten a little bit too much, which is kind of interesting. Spending time with the horses is obviously special. Pistachio just joined, and that was like obviously a really, really wonderful thing. But getting to know the horses and, remember they are horses. I have horses too. I left 4 at home, and I did just get a new one. But the kid down the road is riding him, for while I'm gone. And then all I know is I'm thinking, okay, wait, she really is going to California. And then I was kind of worried about her because you don't know where she's at all times. Okay, but now that I'm living it with her, okay, obviously I don't worry about her anymore. She's really sensible and ingenious and that kind of thing, industrious. So, off we go. Here we are. Hopefully people come to ride with us, and hopefully people come to support drive because I want to ride. And other than that, it's going to be a great time no matter what. And I know we'll make it to California.
Absolutely. And I'm making my plans already to come out. So when I get there, you and I can trade off and ride or drive or whatever.
Oh, good. Thanks. Yeah. Oh, no. I can't wait to meet you. Lisa's really nice, obviously, and Lisanne's at 1 in a million, but so is Lisa Dearson. But anyway, yeah, I can't wait to meet you. It'll be a great time, and it really is quite an accomplishment. I have thought about riding across the country about a couple of times. Okay, but this time I'm like, are you kidding me? I really am going. So off I go. I went.
My arm is dying. I had to switch sides.
Well, and so with that, I'll say one of the things that we'll ask you to do, Claudia, is to film. And so let's go ahead and switch out and do that. And then I'm going to grab you back in, if that's okay. So,
yeah.
So, and
All right. Perfect.
Yeah. So I know the first thing I've been dying to do is meet Pistachio. So
Let's go meet Pistachio.
Yes, please, please, please. And while you're walking, tell me a little bit about where you are right now and what y'all have going on today.
Yeah, so we're here at the Highland County Fairgrounds, getting a little bit of a late start today. Someone was supposed to show up and come ride with me today, but unfortunately they had some car trouble, so I got delayed, which worked out great because now we're here on this podcast and you can kind of see a little bit of my daily routine as far as how I get ready and what we're doing. So we'll come over here, and since Pistachio is here, here's Pistachio. The gal that was watching him got a bright green pistachio colored halter for him. This horse is, he's been in my herd for about 4 or 5 years now. He's kind of my ultimate pack horse. He's Finn's best friend for sure. They've been together quite a long time. So, they're kind of like working and dealing with bickering brothers a lot. Yeah, but since he's here and now I'm getting back on the trail again, after traveling to Kentucky for the weekend to go speak, getting Sash back into shape and in condition, we're going to start going back to some smaller miles. So before we stopped, we were doing about 20, 25 miles a day between Finn over here and Shalana. But now we'll get back to those smaller miles where it'll be about 12 to 15 mile days for a few days just to get Stash's legs in shape. You can see it's been really rainy and muddy here. I'm still getting all sorts of mud. I tried to get them cleaned up before we were on the podcast. But yeah, they kind of became Mustangs these last few days. So yeah, but I'm super happy to have him back and a part of the herd. He's just a good, gentle soul.
Oh, I just love him. He's gorgeous. Now, does coat change color when you do summer, winter coat, that sort of thing?
Yeah, so a little bit. He stays pretty true to his color, but actually I'm gonna have Claudia, we're gonna go around to the other side and I want to show you some really special features about Pistachio here. I'm gonna have to ask Finn to move out of the way. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Good boy. Okay, so I don't know how good the lighting is. Andy is really dirty. But you can kind of see some striping that comes down his neck here. There's a little bit darker there. Yeah. And then there's another one up here, bigger. And when he's actually cleaned off, Trudy with the Spaniel Silk, I've been trying. They just keep rolling. But he has some striping there. And then on the back of his legs, actually, he has some great striping. So if you want to come back over around here, Claudia, where you can kind of see it in the shadow there. Better. He has some striping down his legs here.
Wow. That is gorgeous. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that.
Yeah, so he's a pretty loud striped Grulia. They kind of think that came from the original Spanish barb horses. And it just has a high dun factor. I'm not really one of those color geniuses. I just really enjoy what he has. So I as a little girl, I always really dreamed of having a Grulia. This has always been my dream color. And it just so happened that someone reached out to me through Facebook and they were like, hey, I have this 4-year-old Grulia horse if you want him for free. I've heard really good things about you. And this gal worked for the BLM, so it's good to know that the Bureau of Land Management is saying good things about me. So she was like, hey, I have this horse for free. And I was like, what? Like a Grulia Mustang, only 4 years old for free? Like, yes. This sounds too good to be true. And I went and I met him and I just fell in love. And yeah, so he's the best gift that I've ever been given, probably ever in my life. He's a really good, awesome horse. He's been my #1 choice for pack horse, whether that be packing gear or packing humans up in the mountains in Wyoming. So I'm excited to get him back into shape and hopefully he'll be a great ambassador out here on the trail.
Absolutely. Can you zoom in, Claudia? Can we see his brand? I'm always just really fascinated by the brands. And I don't know if we've talked about that on the podcast before or not.
Yeah, so Stash's brand isn't great. He's a bit of a nut all around. So who knows what he was doing His is pretty smeared. If you actually want to look at a brand, we'll go look at Finn's brand. It's a lot better.
Yeah, let's do that. Because I know there's so much meaning in there, and I love seeing how they look. Oh yeah, that one's bigger.
Yeah, so well, right now they have some longer hair, so it's a little bit hard to read. But it's an Alpha Sigma sign essentially. So there's a big U here that stands for the United States government, and then there's two symbols stacked on top of each other, and that's the year that they estimate that they were born. Finn's, I have his brand memorized, so that's actually a 1 and a 1. And then the next following numbers are 616194. But it works in a star shape. So 2 numbers going up and down, that's a 1. 2 numbers across, that's a 0. And then it just starts going in 90-degree angles. So a 2 is like this, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's kind of how you can read them. But right now, Finn's is a little hard. We'll have to revisit this topic once he fully sheds out.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess the question then is, how do you decide each morning who you're going to ride, who's going to pack, who's going to be the guest ride horse?
Yeah, so right now, Finn here is just my number 1 guest riding horse. When I was traveling alone there for a little bit or without a support driver, Finn has been my pack horse carrying, even the dog at this point. Yeah. And so he's just kind of been my all-around guy. I'm excited for Pistachio to kind of be able to trade on and off with Finn. I just need to get him back into shape. And, honestly, I haven't ridden him around any roadways. He has been a really great horse in general, with different people in different environments. So I just want to give him a couple days to get used to the road before I start throwing him in as either pack horse or having people ride him. But most days, like I really do mostly just ride Chileno because like no one else can really ride him. He's kind of my problem child. He goes and he goes and he goes. But he still does some really big spooks that have to be ridden through and worked through and whatnot. It's crazy. I'm now 800 miles into this. I'm actually only 200 miles away from being considered a long rider. So that's pretty exciting. Slowly getting there. But Chileno, especially now since they've been on Animal Health, or Summit Animal Health is actually our sponsor. It's a joint supplement for them. Mm-hmm. And Chileno has actually been walking at half a mile per hour faster ever since being on that supplement. So he now walks at an average of 4.25 miles per hour. And we've been kind of throwing some trotting up into the mix, which is actually something that Bernice Indy told me to do, because Bernice was averaging about 10 miles every 2 hours. And so I usually end up walking about an hour, and then I just do a really slow jog for about an hour. And yeah, it's been going really good. I've been really enjoying that pace. And then I give them about an hour and a half long break. So I'm just going back to the words of wisdom that Bernice gave me. And it's great to hit that stride. The horses they're maintaining shape, they're maintaining condition, they're really happy, they're happy and excited to go. But yeah, as far as like my personal ride, I do choose to ride Chileno a lot just because he does set that great pace. I've never once had to pedal him. Like I've never once had to like kick him to keep going or anything. He's just, man, the longer the days, the faster he goes. He's quite the machine. Honestly, I've never really experienced a horse like that before. So he's always my number 1 pick, even if he does have some big spooks and that kind of thing going on here and there.
kind of worth it. Yeah, that balances out, I'm sure. So what are the roadways like there, or what's the trail like there? Because, you went through some areas that were mostly highway, mostly road, and then, you'd have a little trail off trail every now and then. What's it like in Ohio?
Yeah, so Ohio, haven't really been on many trails much. We joined kind of into Ohio in March, and a lot of the trails weren't actually open until April 1st. And so also to save a little bit of time, just because we got stuck in West Virginia so long, like we mentioned earlier, I've mostly just been taking Highway 50 across the state. So that's been working out great. I know a lot of people think that it's crazy to ride the highways, but a lot of the reason for that is it's actually, in my mind, a lot safer because even though the cars are going faster, there's a lot less blind turns and blind corners than trying to weave through a lot of the hills and everything. And so that's why, and more people are like able to see you like from farther, so they have a better heads up and they can be more cautious, and it's safer for the drivers and for us. And so that's kind of why, like, traveling these bigger highways, I know it seems a little crazy, but it actually is safer in the long run, given the blind turns and everything. That surprisingly, Ohio is full of hills in the southern part of the state. My mom is actually from the northern part, which is like flat farm country. So I think that's like the best part about this trip, is getting to know more of America and more of the states. You know, I come from Wyoming, and like a lot of people have prejudgments about Wyoming, and I've even been asked if we even have Wi-Fi out there. We do. I would like to say, like, the Pony Express does not deliver our mail anymore. But it has been good to get to know the states on a lot more intimate level and see some amazing, absolutely stunning things. Like Claudia was there for Ash Cave, and that was just remarkable. And I was not expecting that of Ohio. So Ohio has just been really, really eye-opening in a lot of ways, and just amazing.
That is awesome. And I know, like, the last time we talked, you were getting ready for Hocking College, and then you had something on. So you've had some really interesting appearances, it sounds like. What like? How have they gone?
Yeah, so Hocking was amazing. It was really good. We were stopped there for a week, and being there for an entire week was really, really good, because we actually got to know a lot of the students one-on-one. Absolutely amazing. We were there for an entire week, which was super great, because then we were able to actually like work and talk with the students one-on-one. And actually, now 3 of the students from the college have actually come and rode with me. Finn here has carried them all. So yeah, that's great. And I'm super excited, especially for like the longevity of the Mustang Discovery Foundation. So one of our goals is, after this ride, is to go beyond the 5,000 Mustangs and actually try to eliminate long-term holding. And my plan of action for doing that is to instill a lot of programs where we have homes already set kind of for the Mustangs that are rounded up, or at least the vast majority, where we have enough programs that are matching the roundup numbers every year. And so part of that is working with these colleges with equine programs and getting them to adopt some Mustangs right out of the wild. So with that being said, one of the ideas that was brought up at Hocking College is we do a partnership with Mustang Heritage Foundation, and we work through their TIP program. So essentially we'd be helping students become trainers. So for one semester, it would be focused on nothing but groundwork, where all of the Mustangs that go through that program that semester have to meet the TIP requirements, which are picking up all of their feet, leading, and loading in a trailer. And we'd go beyond that. So making sure that we get a good ground foundation with those Mustangs. And then the next semester, the spring semester, would be using those same Mustangs from the fall and transferring them into the next semester, where now we're starting those horses under saddle for the next day. So it would be a great series. And also Hocking is super excited about it. There's even rumor that maybe, I don't know, we'll see. I hate sometimes saying stuff out loud and it being documented forever. But you know, there's rumor where I might actually move back to Ohio for a semester to help them get that program launched off the ground after this. So Hocking College was a great stop.
Yes. Well, and I know Dr. Powell is very supportive of the ride and has been so I've really enjoyed meeting her virtually. So I'm sure she's going to have a lot to do with that. But I can't think of a better way than coming back and helping them get started. Fantastic.
Yeah. And then we can take that program and everything that they do and use that as a blueprint for other programs across the nation. So that's kind of where current negotiations and talks are at. So Hocking was an amazing stop.
Great. And Chasing the Sun looked gorgeous. I saw your Facebook post and everything. That looked amazing. How did it go?
Yeah. So Chasing the Sun was absolutely amazing. It's kind of crazy where this trail takes me. Chasing the Sun is actually like a warm blood and thoroughbred foaling barn. And so there's some really high dollar horses there. Actually, there's one filly that was born there that we got to meet talk about, and they're hoping that she makes it to the Kentucky Derby. So that's kind of crazy. But the way that we got into that is the owner there actually owns a Mustang. So
fantastic. Oh, it's like they pop out of the woodwork when you start going through and you start talking, they just come out. So there are more of them out there than we even realize, I think.
Yeah. I mean, just where we were at 2 nights ago, they actually have 5 Mustangs at their place. So that was really cool to see. Another place where we stopped was Valor, and that's actually where Claudia is from. She's neighbors with Valor's Veteran Retreat. And so similar to Chasing the Sun, they're actually talking about starting a veteran program using Mustangs. And so this is the other part of that, going off of like the college component where we're training students to train Mustangs. It would be really great to start working with veterans and Mustangs too, more so across the country. You know, there's several programs right now that are working with Mustangs. There's Operation Wild Horse, and then there's Braveheart. And it's a really great thing that's going on. So getting more of those programs going, and again, just having more homes for those Mustangs. Because one thing that I've realized riding across the East Coast here and talking with the Americans is that people really do want wild horses, but not everyone is meant to train a wild horse. And a lot of people just want like a good solid trail horse. And why not that be a Mustang? I mean, they were born for the wild, and they're meant to survive, especially on the trails. So we need to have a few more programs where we're getting more horses that are actually trained and into the public hands. So that's all part of it, and you know, the bigger picture and cohesion of everything.
Right, exactly. And I mean, I think the thing is, when you're traveling through and you can stop and make personal appearances, it's even more powerful. But even when you can't be here, we just did an event here in South Carolina, and Lisa was at an event in Kansas, and you know, it just being able to talk about it and share the whole project with folks, it's building momentum and exponentially, I think. So it's you should be very proud. I'm excited, very excited.
Yeah, it's really powerful, especially showing up in person, and then all of the work that you guys are doing is absolutely amazing. You know, people think when they hear Mustang, there's kind of a negative connotation there, and they don't really believe that they're like truly solid citizens. And it's so great to like this, when I was at Chasing the Sun stables, I mean, I rode Finn bareback. I had Stash tied to Chileno. I was leading all 3 of them around together. They were all getting along. They weren't really bickering together that day. And then, you know, I called my puppy over and loaded him up, and then the puppy was riding with the 3 of us. And it just goes to show, I mean, the diversity and just how amazing and kind-hearted, and just, I mean, they can be quiet horses. Even Chileno can stand still sometimes. And yeah, I really love them, and it's great to be out here on the trail and inspiring more people to adopt them.
Absolutely. And you talk about versatility. I have to also say you're pretty versatile too, because I love your Facebook post where you become the carpenter and you go to Lowe's and you build the little box, and poor Lisanne's up there. Poor Zindy was just off on his own for a while. And now this amazing contraption that you built. Tell me about it.
Yeah. So I'll call Zindy over. Come here. It came just at the right nick of time. Come here, buddy. Yeah. So as you can see, Zindy has a boo-boo.
He's grown like feet.
Yeah. He's gotten pretty big.
Dang, he has.
Yeah. So I won't be able to hold him long because he has gotten so big. But as you can see, he got a boo-boo. So the very first day that I had the box on, we were on some quieter back roads because we didn't have a support driver with us that day. And Caillou, my service dog here, he's really well trained and listens to me really well. Well, he's been helping me train Zen up a little bit. Caillou, come here. But what happened is I called Caillou back, and of course Zen came running back with him. And so when Caillou came running back, Caillou's smarter and older and wiser. And so he stopped 5 feet in front of Chileno while we were walking. And he stopped 5 feet, and then he did a 180 and he turned around and ran away. Well, Zen here didn't quite make the 180 turn. and just ran right underneath Chileno. And Chileno, like I've mentioned a million times, he's just a machine. So he just stepped right over top of him and didn't phase Chileno a bit. But yeah, it ended up breaking a little bone in Zen's foot. So we're about a week out of him still having to be in a cast. And right now it looks really crazy because it was raining a lot and I got to keep that bandage dry. So just doing everything to try to keep it dry on him. But now Zen, luckily, has this highfalutin little seat where he can actually ride up on top of the horse. So he's kind of like a little prince up there. I'm gonna do some modifications to it still. So I think that's one thing when you start building things and you have no idea what you're doing, you kind of keep adapting as you go. So I'm gonna make the walls just a little bit higher for him. And yeah, I need to make it a little bit more secure so it sits on the bars a little bit more stabler, because right now I just had some bungees and they kind of loosened up a little bit, so he kept tilting a little bit. So yeah, just keep adapting and overcoming. I think that's the name of the game out here on the trail.
Exactly. Modify and adjust, or monitor and adjust, or whatever they say.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Run under and have that one little boo-boo to start the respect. And so gladly, happily, small boo-boo, and he'll be back to normal soon. So
it has not slowed him down at all. He has adapted very well, and he still runs around and plays with the big dogs. Like, yeah, he's not phased.
You look great too. So it's great to see Caillou. So. So tell me what comes next. You're not too far from the border. Where will you be crossing the state line? What day do you think that'll happen?
Yeah, so what's going to happen is we're going to ride for 2 days. I don't know when this podcast will come out, but it's just a couple days before Easter right now. So we're going to ride for a couple days, get to a state park. That way we aren't imposing on anyone right before the holidays. Kind of awkward to door knock on someone and be like, hey, we don't mean to crash your family party or anything. So we're gonna stay in a campground for the weekend, and then we'll move out. And from the campground, we're only about 40 miles away, so that's really a 2.5-3 day ride. So we're gonna cross. Lisa was here yesterday, and she had me all freaked out about the river, and I was like looking into places to cross the river, but it doesn't look actually like we have to cross it. It's actually south of us. So yeah, I think we'll actually be into Indiana next Wednesday. So yeah, I'm excited. In like 6 days.
Yeah,
it's kind of, after West Virginia. It's weird to like have a state down in a month.
I know. I was telling somebody yesterday about the start of the ride in like Delaware took 2 or 3 days, I think. So it's just some take a while, some not so much. So yeah. Well, I know you're happy to be ticking off the miles, and like you said, 200, you're officially a long rider, and we're gonna have to have a podcast celebration that day. So we'll plan it for sure.
Yeah, give me about 2 more weeks, and we'll be celebrating. So I'm excited.
Exactly. Well, I know you've got stuff to do today. Thanks for taking so much time to tell us what's going on, and for introducing Claudia. We're very happy to meet you, Claudia. And
thank you very much.
Happy to meet Stash as well. I've been looking forward to that. So I hope you go off and have a fantastic ride today. And is there anything else you want people to know before we close out?
Yeah, I just want people to know that I'm really grateful and thankful to everyone who's been helping along the way, everyone who's been following. There's a huge back end that goes behind everything that happens, and any engagement that we get on our posts is absolutely great and amazing. And it just helps spread the message and the word of these horses and gets them more homes, which is why we're out here. So I'm really like in turn inspired by everyone else that comments and follows along. So I just want to say thank you to you all. And thank you to our sponsors. I mean, we couldn't be out here without our sponsors either. So unfortunately, gratefully, overly grateful. There's too many to name right now. So yeah, we couldn't be here, couldn't do this without you guys. So thank you so much for all the support. I really feel the love, and so do these guys, and we really appreciate all of you.
If you'd like to know more about the ride, please visit www.mustangdiscovery.com. If you'd like to support the upcoming documentary or docuseries, please visit jamediaconnections.com. We really do appreciate your support.